Hey guys, Tumbo back again. Today I'm going to be ranking my top 12 favorite smartphones that I have used in 2021. Small disclaimer, I buy all these phones by myself, so I'm pretty selective with the one that I choose. I typically aim for phones that are under $1,000, so don't yell at me if I didn't include phones such as the iPhone 13 Pro Max on my list. I just personally never use it. I know it is an awesome phone, but I did use the iPhone 13. I did, however, make an exception for some of Samsung's flipping and folding phones because I really liked the idea and was pretty excited to try it out. And some of the phones on my list did not necessarily come up in 2021 either. I just happened to be using it in 2021 and I still think there's a lot of value for it this year. And without further ado, here are my top 12 favorite smartphones of 2021. Starting off at number 12 is the original Google Pixel 1. You're probably wondering why I'm using a Pixel 1 in 2021, but I use it for one purpose and one purpose only. Google Photos used to let you upload unlimited photos onto the Photos app, but this year they no longer allow that. However, one way to get around that is in the original Pixel that they released, they actually promised that the user can have unlimited Google Photos at original quality for lifetime. So I figured to buy one of these phones for $100 and I just use that to upload all my photos and videos and see how long I can get away with it before Google decides to shut it down. But overall, for $100, I think it is a great deal to get unlimited photos and videos upload for lifetime. Next at number 11 is the iPhone SE. It is kind of a poor man's iPhone, but it has okay battery life and the same iOS experience as the iPhone 13 Pro Max. At $400, you can't really complain. It is an awesome camera and a great ecosystem. Overall, nothing too exciting about it, but if you just want a smaller phone factor, still get the iPhone experience to fit in with your friends, then go for it. Next at number 10 is the Galaxy A71. I never tried the A series before, so this was the first one that I've used. For the most part, I feel like in the US, the S series tend to be more popular, but I know around Europe and the rest of the world, the A series actually tend to sell a lot better. Overall, I just think it is great value for these phones at these prices. The A71 is nice, safe, and reliable. You get a mid-range processor and also a decent price as well, roughly around $500. I didn't like the glossy back though, due to it being fingerprint prone. It still have an awesome camera and a great battery life. The phone itself is not that memorable for me, but it is overall pretty solid. Next on the list, paying tribute to LG, is the LG Wing. I like the novelty factor of this phone. You don't see too many companies gambling with these crazy form factors. Just the fact that it swivel and kick out whenever you use it kind of remind me of the Sidekick back in the day. I actually never owned a Sidekick, so just making up for lost time. And overall, this form factor is not too practical. I do find it useful in probably one particular scenario where I'm playing games and watching YouTube at the same time. But other than that, there's not many other uses for it. The processor is subpar, but overall, I still like the attempt and the cool factor of this phone. Number 8 is the Galaxy S21. It is Samsung's flagship phone. Nothing too exciting, but this is the base model at about $800. I mean, in the perfect world, I would love to have used the Plus or even Ultra, but those are going over $1,000, and I just find it a little bit difficult to kind of justify to pay more than $1,000 for these phones. I know with the Ultra, you're gonna get the bigger battery, you're gonna get the best camera, and basically all the high-end specs. And if you're willing to pay for it, you can definitely get a great experience. But I went for the S21. I like the purple color, the price range. Overall, you get like the 120 Hz, a Snapdragon 888, similar familiar Samsung experience if you have used other Samsung phone in the past. For me personally, I actually had an awful battery life experience with this phone and had some overheating issues at all. But overall, it was still a solid phone. I think if I kept it more than a month, they will eventually update it and all those issues will be gone. S21, I do like the camera, how it bleeds around the edge, it just looks nice, and solid phone for a solid price. It does have a glass stick back, which in theory is a little cheap, but it is actually more practical and didn't bother me too much actually. But still, it is technically less premium than some of those other phones in this price range. At number 7 is the LG V60. I actually love this phone and I liked it even more for the price that I got it in 2021. I believe I got the bundle for around $600 or $700, and just gotta give love to all my LG enthusiasts out there. And for me personally, it is my first time dabbling into the folding phone space, and I actually love the experience and LG's take on this. Essentially, if you just buy the phone itself, it's just like a regular candy bar smartphone, just like anything else out there. But the case itself is a little bit of a game changer. You basically just get like 2 screens on both sides, and you can just use it. You can have like 2 apps functioning at the same time in full screen. You can do YouTube, you can play games, and basically I did not have any issues running every single app on full screen on both screens, which is very nice. The only downfall is it is a bit heavy, but whenever you don't feel like carrying the big case around, you can just take it off and use it as a regular phone. Then it is super light at that point. But overall, I love the huge screen, the awesome battery. Quad DAC is okay. I'm not a audiophile, so wouldn't be able to tell the difference, but if you listen hard enough, I can justify it and I can see why people would like it, and I know why it's such a popular phone. And it basically have all the features that are pretty much gone in flagship phones these days, including micro SD, the headphone jack with the quad DAC like I mentioned earlier. This phone pretty much had it all, military grade. And if you're able to kind of snag this phone along with the case, I would highly recommend it, just because the fact that LG is no longer making smartphones. It is a nice little antique phone that would definitely be missed. And I hear in some cases you can get it for anywhere from $300 to $500 just for the phone itself. And if you are bargain hunting, I think this is one worth looking out for. If you've enjoyed seeing videos like these, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Next on the list is the OnePlus 9. I was debating back and forth which one I like more. I do like the experience of the V60 more, but I went for the newer processor with the OnePlus 9. Overall, both awesome phones. But the OnePlus, it is a little bit more expensive in the $700-800 range. But my favorite feature on the OnePlus 9 is the fact that it has a 65-watt fast charger. And that is just unbelievable. I never really had to worry about charging my phones or running out of battery. If I'm ever in a pinch and do need to charge my battery, I can just plug in my phone for about 10 to 15 minutes, and during that time while I'm changing and just getting ready, I'm usually at about like 80 or 90%, again just because the fact that it charged so fast. And it has a great camera as well. They improved their camera a lot. Although one downfall I can potentially see is anytime you see smartphones that are charging 65 to like 100 watt, it can definitely kill the battery faster over time. But if you switch phones pretty often, then it would have been an issue. I do like that it comes with such a fast charger and it is included in the box, unlike most of those other flagship phones that you see today, including Samsung, Apple, and Google. Alright, next on the list at number 5 is the Pixel 6 Pro. Overall, I think it is just a great phone, but the only reason why I have it ranked lower than the Pixel 6 is due to the fact that it is $300 more. I mean, overall, you do get the higher refresh rate, the better camera, slightly better screen and battery, and technically it is cheaper compared to some of the other high-end flagship phones such as the Galaxy S21 Ultra and also the iPhone 13 Pro Max. But at the same time, I don't think it is $300 better than the Pixel 6, which is why I just have it a little bit lower. But I know on paper and overall, the experience wise, it is better than the Pixel 6, but I just don't like the price tag. I'm a little bit of a bargain hunter, so it makes it a little bit harder for me to justify. Alright, so number 4, I got the iPhone 13. And this phone is ranked pretty high for me just for the battery life alone. It easily lasts over a day, and I can't emphasize how impressed I am with the battery enhancements for the iPhone 13 series. Overall, although it appeared to be a very small update in terms of like physical changes and everything like that, but just the battery itself, they did incredible work on it, and I hope Android step up the game as well just to kind of match them. And if you decide to go for the Pro or even the Pro Max, you can easily get over 2 days of battery life, which is pretty insane. I know a lot of smartphone claims they have all day battery life, but that's not the case if you gotta like dim your screen and try to minimize all your usage. But that wasn't the case with the iPhone 13 when I used it. I basically just use it as I normally would, play games all day, watch YouTube, podcasts, drive around, GPS navigation, and by the end of the day when I go to bed it is still running, and that for me is just more than enough. Also on top of that, you still get the great iOS experience, the great camera, and this one starts at about $800 too, which is reasonable for a flagship phone at a standard version. And the only reason why I didn't want to go for the Pro and Pro Max is I didn't want to spend close to $1,000 for it. And next on the list is where I flip-flop a little bit. No pun intended, but coming in at number 3 is the Galaxy Z Flip 3, which does cost $1,000. And this really, it took a lot for me to drop $1,000 on this phone, but I really wanted to try a flipping phone, and I held back from the previous version. It used to cost $1,400. This year they managed to bring it to $999, so I really wanted to give it a shot. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people love this phone, and I'm a big Samsung fan. I love the idea of flipping and folding phones, which is why I decided to get it in the first place. But at the end of the day, I think this phone is just cool and compact. And just the fact that you can close the phone whenever you're done with it, it's a nice little feeling, and it looks very stylish, and there's definitely a novelty factor to owning this phone. And I do like that they are finally pushing the barrier in terms of making folding phone more affordable. It's not quite there yet. I think in the next few generations, if we start seeing phones more in the $700, $800 range, that would be great. But it is definitely a big step compared to the $1,400 price tag the year before. But at the end of the day, the downfall of this phone is a subpar battery life, which really kills it for me. And the noticeable crease in the middle, I never quite got over it, due to the fact that the smaller phone is right in the middle of the screen and your finger is literally touching it all the time. I do still give Samsung props just for the fact that they're able to make it affordable and make this technology available, and just the overall cool factor is a big plus. Finally, coming in at number 2 is the Google Pixel 6, the base version, which is all about value at $600. It is a huge bargain for a flagship phone. Last year in 2020, I was a big fan of the Galaxy S20 FE, and that one was about $700, and it was a huge bargain phone as well. This year I think Google Pixel 6 definitely take the crown for that, since there is no fan edition this year. And it is practically a mid-range price, and you're getting a flagship phone, which is pretty cool. You're getting the latest Google Tensor chip and one of the best cameras out there as well. Google, Samsung, and Apple definitely have the best smartphone cameras. Not much of a debate there. On top of that, it comes with all the cool AI tech, and finally Google pushing out a flagship phone. If you don't want to spend close to $1,000 for a flagship phone, the Pixel 6 should definitely be on the top of your list, and I think at $600 it is a great price. Finally, last and not least, at number 1 is the Galaxy Z Fold 3, and this is coming from a guy who typically don't want to spend more $1,000 for this phone. The Z Fold 3 comes in at a whopping $1,800 price tag, but just the fact that it is so awesome and so unique, and if you can stomach the price tag or take advantage of some of the early trade-in deals, it is totally worth it. I know this year Samsung let you trade in like multiple phones and other random gadgets that you have around. So whatever you can do to get your hands on one of these, I think it is worth it if you can make the budget work. Overall, it is a nice phone to kind of type with one hand, although it can be super heavy, but due to the fact that it is pretty narrow, you can reach across pretty easily and text with one hand, which is a nice little feature for a phone that is this big. And I love the feeling of opening up the phone when you're ready to kind of relax and ready to consume media. If you're watching YouTube or just playing games, it is just a very nice, satisfying experience to fit a tablet size in your pocket. Yes, the crease is there, but you do forget about it when you're watching videos or playing games. It is not as noticeable as the Flip, where you're constantly always touching it in the middle of your phone. This one is a little bit harder to reach because once you open it to a tablet size, it's a little bit more hidden, especially if you're watching something with a bright background. Overall, it is just a very sleek looking phone, has a pretty decent camera. I brought on a road trip from California to the Grand Canyons as well, so got a lot of fun memories with this phone. Alright, thanks for watching guys. Let me know what your favorite phone of 2021 is. Please don't fight me based on my rankings. It is just my own personal opinions and preferences. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the order based on the phones that I have used this year. Please like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.